who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come.
Sounds familiar? Or does it make you, like me, feel even more of a foreigner in your own city? Remember our London, drowned out, swamped. Strange, isn't it? I don't need to remind you of all the ways the streets of London have changed. I don't have to take you by the hand and show you. You know what I mean. You see and hear it every day, the alien nation. You talk about it with your friends and family, with your neighbours. Remember what our London used to be like? No no-go areas, no ghettos. Heaven knows it's almost unrecognisable from the city we grew up in. Our homes, families and Christian identity, all abandoned for 40 pieces of silver by the PC politicians. But you know it doesn't have to be like that. Not anymore. Because of people like you crossing to the BNP all across London. People like you voting British National Party are now saying that only by marking your crosses for the BNP can you hammer home your belief that enough is enough. We Londoners, being people fair and tolerant, being people honest and good-natured, and being people who care, have had our hospitality abused. Now let's be quite clear. We know that we can't blame the people who come to our city in their hundreds of thousands, can we? No. The people we all know we should blame are those who've inflicted this mess on us and who've never given us a chance to say, no more. We can't take any more. The tin pot tyrants smugly lording it over us in their glass towers and tax-subsidised penthouses, living a life of luxury paid for with a bottomless pit of our taxes, while the rest of us, stuck in the traffic together, face the bloody mess they've engineered. They preach that London's a multicultural paradise, but I don't need to remind you what their empty boast means in reality. Yes, heaven on earth for the pickpockets and the muggers, paradise for the Islamic fanatics and the suicide bombers, heaven for the cheap foreign labour dragging down our wages, London, our capital city, too often a hell for law-abiding Londoners like us. And meanwhile, Labour has handcuffed the police. Decent PCs bound by PC madness, forbidden from targeting the real criminals, ordered to turn a blind eye to evil, a laughing stock. Londoners like us have been dying for change for long enough. Being peaceful and tolerant, we kept our thoughts to ourselves. But now it's safe to say what we all know, that the tide is turning, and people now openly crossing to the BNP know that the multicultural myth has been blown apart and cannot be resurrected. Only voting BNP makes sense now. Because otherwise, Labour won't stop preaching at us about diversity and enrichment while bending over backwards to ensure that real Londoners like us don't have a prayer. Take Margaret Hodge, barking Labour MP, calling for the last night of the proms to be whipped into PC shape because it might be offensive to minorities. As you know, they've already tried to stop us flying our cross at St George, to scrap Christian assemblies and prayers in schools, to rip down crucifixes from hospital chapels, to stop our servicemen and women wearing their uniforms in public. Now we even have the Dean of Southwark banning our English hymn Jerusalem. Are you just going to sit there and let them hammer in yet more nails? But fortunately it's now safe to say that people have had enough and that we're just not going to take any more. Thanks to hundreds of thousands of people like you voting BNP, the old parties are beginning to backtrack from their fast-track policy for foreigners. I don't know whether you saw any of the programmes for the so-called White Season on the TV. You may have seen the trailers with the Englishman having his face painted out by foreign writing until he's completely black. Remember the one with the British bulldog in the garden swamped by foreign dogs? Well, TV seasons come and go, but the British National Party is here to stay. Together, we'll take our London back to where it should be. Londoners like us have been put upon, put down and put out for long enough. Thankfully, that time is now over, and that's why people in their hundreds of thousands will be putting their crosses in the BNP boxes, especially in the top-up list. You don't have to just pray for victory for Londoners like us now. By voting BNP on May the 1st, you can help make it happen. Thank you for joining us. Deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom, the power,